Today, I'm pretty excited to talk about, just a topic that I think about almost every day, which is like, what does the future look like with AI? We have so many opportunities ahead of us, and I really want to make sure that we're using some of these really wonderful tools to create a really great future. I read this book called Hackers. It was a book by Stephen Levy, and I read it when it first came out or shortly after. And I remember thinking, wow, there's this whole world out there, this world that is um, really interesting, a lot about sharing, a lot about openness, a lot about collaboration. And I realized that I'm a hacker. And of course, I was a young person. I told my mom, "Hey, mom, I'm a hacker." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, not a hacker." Of course, she had no idea what that meant. I really had no idea what it meant. I just knew that this book was such an important part of my life. Let's talk about AI. And this is something that I think about all the time, which is, what is AI? Nobody actually knows. I mean, I certainly have no idea what AI is. I wonder a lot about what AI is because it's changing so fast. And I've decided that, I think AI is magic. I think it's just magical. I think it's this exciting thing that we all kind of take for granted. But really, AI is simple. It's just machine learning and it's just neural networks. And these things are actually math, right? It's pretty straightforward. And it's not new. It's actually 50 years old or more. These are concepts that have been around for a while. So why do we have such progress these days? Why is there such new conversations around it? Well, I mean, obviously, with the advent of better computers and whatnot, but also we've just done a lot more research and whatnot. And you can see that it's getting way better, it's getting way faster. But my favorite part is it's getting way weirder. What really stokes me every day is that these are things that are used every day by all of these wonderful companies. It's really becoming a standard tool. I'm sure many people in the audience are thinking about their own AI strategies, their own strategies around machine learning and whatnot, and wondering, is this a sure bet? Absolutely, this is a sure bet. This is one of the best things that you can bet on right now. Automation, etc. There's a couple interesting things that I like to think about around AI. Some things that are very interesting and cause a lot of questions. The first one is that AI doesn't learn like humans. We know this, but I think it's worthwhile underlining. For those of you that followed the Go match with Lee Sedol back in the day, a few years ago, the thing that I found really interesting about this was a lot of the pundits around Go talked about how the moves seemed alien. They didn't seem like they were moves that a normal human would do. So here's a tweet from 2008, and this is something that I really liked. And as you can see, it's about Google, it's about RankBrain, and one of the things that they say. I guess it's 2016. Sorry, my bad. One of the things that they say is that they don't understand what RankBrain is doing. Well, that blows my mind. What do you mean you don't understand what it's doing? Well, what this means is that they have an algorithm that they just don't understand how it works. They see what it does, but they don't understand how it works. James Bridle, who is one of my favorite kind of pundits around this stuff, he says machine learning is what we call any software we don't understand. And this is something that I just think is so funny. It's like we have this world where we're building software and truly we do not understand what it is, how it's working, and whatnot. And I think this is something that we have to come to terms with a little bit. But at the same time, it's very interesting. I love it. But Bill Gates says, "I don't understand why some people are not concerned." Well, that's pretty shocking. Okay, what about Elon Musk? Elon Musk, obviously a big business leader, very innovative, uses a lot of machine learning and AI technology in his companies. He says, "With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon." Okay, well, that's pretty dramatic. What about the late Stephen Hawking, another wonderful leader around math, science? "The development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race." Okay, that's pretty dramatic there. Thankfully, philosophers, researchers at some of our best universities in the world are thinking about these things. And these are some of the reasons why, Elon Musk, et cetera, are worried about AIs, is because it's very hard to figure out, how do we solve the power button problem? How do we solve the paperclip maximizer? How do we solve these big philosophical problems? And there's all sorts of new fancy tech that I actually think is very relevant to this conversation. OpenAI, which is a really wonderful company out there in Silicon Valley, has done a whole bunch to kind of push these ideas of really advanced models for language. And so what I did is I actually, in preparation for this talk, I went ahead and I generated a presentation that's generated entirely by OpenAI about eating hot dogs. So let's jump into this. So here is I love this. How to Eat Hot Dogs by Harper Reed and OpenAI. Okay, first, eat it like a hero. Eat it like a girl. Eat it like a dude. Now scream, nom nom. Scream, nom nom. Scream, nom nom. Practice makes perfect. So that's the presentation is generated by OpenAI. And when I first saw this, I was like, what does this mean? What is happening? I guess the idea is that we're not quite there yet. We're not there where we're going to have these AIs taking over, replacing all our jobs, etc. We have a long way to go. It's close. I mean, it did generate a presentation about eating hot dogs. It just, what is it? What does nom nom mean? Obviously, lots of issues, but there are some big issues that we need to deal with that are infecting today, that are very much part of our everyday. The first one here, which I think is really important, is persuasion. And so I really think we need to be thoughtful about that. And I think one way to be thoughtful about that is to really think about bias and training. Specifically within bias and training, we have what Kate Crawford, another one of my favorite pundits, calls a white guy problem, where the people who are building this infrastructure, the people who are manufacturing these algorithms in the algorithm minds, they look like me. They're white males. Oftentimes they live in Silicon Valley, but they're building products for the world. They're building products for the entire internet. But the thing about AI and this machine learning world is that it does exactly what we tell it. And if we don't tell it a message that is full of diversity, that is full of equality and justice, then it gives us a world that is not diverse. It gives us a world that is not just, and it gives us a world that is not does not have equality. But the final thing I don't think we are ready for, which is the displacement and de-skilling that is going to come with automation and AI. And if we look at the world of truck drivers, we look at the world of autos, not auto, ATTO, automobiles. In the US alone, there's 3.54 million truck drivers that will be displaced in the next 20 years. Kai Fu Lee, he suggests that 40% of jobs, that's 40% of jobs. No one is going to be safe from this. No industry is safe. Everyone will be affected. So what do we do? This is what I think about all the time. I said that I like to think about AI. This is what I think about. I think we got to follow a very simple process. And this is very simple. ABC. Always be conscientious. Always be thinking about people, because no matter what is happening, every single time we think about a big model, there's a person somewhere in there. The data is representative of a person in some way or the other. In the chess world, when they paired a master with a computer, it beat everyone. It beat the masters and it beat the computers. And I think that's something that we really need to think about and internalize. The best results are when we pair AI and people. So I do have hope.